Spread the fire. Welcome back to SMWX. And today I am joined by none other than the man who has nothing more than that thing.
Yeah, the future of the country, yes. Yes.
The president of the African Content Movement, Hlaudi Motsoeneng. Ntate, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. I'm also glad to be here.
Sure. So, Ntate, the one thing I wanted to ask you as we start is many people in the mainstream media have tried to make you a figure of fun, joke about what it is that you bring to the political scene. To what extent do you think that's informed by a certain amount of racism in the way that black leaders in South Africa are framed in our country?
No, look, I don't really bother myself about what people are saying. You know, if you have impact on the lives of ordinary citizens, some people, they will go for you, they will call you names. But as a leader, there is nothing wrong about people calling you all these names. I don't bother myself because I know that I want to change the lives of our people in South Africa. In any case, I'm calling all South Africans and I'm saying to them, the future is in their hands. This is the time where all South Africans, they need fresh air. We need to refresh South Africa. How do you refresh South Africa? That is key. If you look the problem in South Africa, especially when it comes to service delivery, the main issue is the maintenance. Example, Eskom. If you put your effort, you put budget for maintenance, there will be no load shedding at Eskom. People of South Africa will have always lights in South Africa. The weakness of government is they are not dealing with maintenance in South Africa. So we as ACM, we want to prioritize maintenance. And I said to people, and some of them, they don't believe that I can fix South Africa within 6 months.
6 months, no, let alone load shedding. You're talking about broader questions of service delivery. That's your promise.
Yes, but also there are quick wins.
And what do you see those as?
Look, firstly, as a leader, you need to have happy people. You are in charge for the country, you lead government. If you have unhappy people within your workers, it's a problem. You need to fix the salary of all employees in government.
Okay.
Example, if you are dealing with police, they are chasing people who are committing crime and you don't pay them well.
So you think the payment of people within the state is a crucial way of getting the state to implement its work in all spheres in a better way?
Yes. In my government, all these unions that are marching every year, fighting for better salary, in my government, I can assure people of South Africa, you won't see those marches because I'm going to make sure that I deal with salary of all employees in government, teachers, nurses, doctors, any employee in government, because you need to pay them well, happy workers.
And
they will perform for you.
And that I think the payment of people in the civil service is important, and I'm actually quite glad you're bringing that issue up. What do you say about the current state of the current fiscus in South Africa? And I think a lot of the ambitious programs that you have concerning land, concerning transport, concerning the payment of government workers requires that. Where do we find that money? How do we make sure that we don't bankrupt the state while we are pursuing these relatively progressive policies?
Look, in South Africa there is money. Make no mistake, don't listen to these people and analysts, don't listen to them. Listen to what I'm saying because I deal with reality. If we stop money going outside our country, we rotate our money locally here, we will have money in South Africa. Example, when you check in South Africa, Who owns the economy? It's not people from South Africa. Economy is owned by people who are coming from outside. We are saying we want to make sure that we empower our own local citizen first, so that when we talk about 90%, 90% is meant to change the lives of our own people, South Africa first.
So let me ask you, because you were quite a strong proponent of the ANC before Nasrec, let's say. And I wonder what's changed. Why do you think that the ANC is no longer capable of delivering for South Africans?
You know, in South Africa, what we need leaders. You know, ANC is leaderless.
Ramaphosa.
I don't even talk about him. So the issue is, you need people like us. People when they go for war, and when I'm talking about war, I'm talking about the war of changing the lives of people.
Sure.
We don't look left, right. We look the enemy straight. And who is the enemy? The enemy is unemployment. The enemy is poverty. The enemy is the economy, because we want to improve the economy of South Africa.
So the ANC has absolutely no chance of becoming that movement again.
The ANC is lost. The only movement that is going to change South Africa is African content movement, because firstly, we believe that in South Africa we have people with amazing talent, we have people with amazing innovation, but these people are not given a chance in South Africa. You know, in South Africa, as a black person, if you come with innovation, no one is going to listen to you, including some of the black people. But if an Indian and Chinese can come with the same innovation, they are going to believe them. So we are going to change that mentality. What is the problem in South Africa? Let me deal with this issue. Our enemy is our own mentality.
Okay, and what do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is, we believe that people from outside, they will rescue us. When we are supposed to rescue ourselves, we are supposed to come with innovation ourselves.
Sure.
Example, President Ramaphosa is talking about raising trillions outside the country. Me, I'm not talking about raising trillions outside the country. I'm saying I'm going to make sure that there is trillion in South Africa done by us, black and white.
Okay, I hear you there. But there's a question I've been meaning to ask, because I've been interested in your movement. I think it represents something quite interesting in our society right now. But there's a view, and you'll tell me if this view is right or not, that supporters of President Zuma are creating parallel political structures in order to weaken the Ramaphosa side of the ANC and strengthen Zuma after this election. And they say that organizations like ACM, like BLF, like ATM are part of that strategy. Is that true or false?
In my party, it is false. I want to be the president of South Africa. I can't assist President Zuma. I think he has played his role, which we respect, all of us. But now we need New Testament, which is ACM, African Content Movement. I can't say I want to be the president and I'm pushing certain agenda. My agenda is simple. I want to change the lives of our own people. There is no Zuma in all these issues that I'm dealing with.
Sure. So we have spoken and we're going to speak a lot about some of your proposals. I think your conversation earlier today on the taxi industry was really interesting in terms of black business and black industry. But certainly surrounding your candidacy, people have thrown questions about your time at the SABC. How can you allay people's fears, on the one hand, that both the public protector process and the legal processes should not cloud their judgment when it comes to placing their faith in you as a leader of ACM?
No, that report of the public protector, it was to tarnish a black person who is changing the lives of people of South Africa. If you check the report itself, the attack is, I have paid workers. Even now, when I ascend to Union Building, I'm going to pay a black person, I'm going to pay South Africans, because we as South Africans, we should have money in our pockets. Any worker should not go to Machonesa to get a loan. Any worker should not go to the banks to get loans for feeding their own children.
So you
I'm
think
not
people
talking
can-
about buying a house, big stuff, that, just the basics.
Sure.
Our people, before the end of the month, they are at Machonesa, they are at the banks. That is what I want to get rid of. People of South Africa should trust me,
Yeah.
that in me there will be a meaning change in their lives. That is very important. They should not go with this propaganda, because for me it is a well fought propaganda
Do you think it had
to
anything to do with
target someone that they realize this one is going to change the lives of people in South Africa.
And your message is quite radical when it comes to black industry, which is something I want to get onto. And I also realized, I didn't realize that the SABC's rationale in terms of the case that ended about a year and a half ago was actually around your statements around the 90%. Many people think it was related to the Public Protector's report alone, but can you take us through that 90% moment and what it meant for you making those statements and the fallout that followed from it?
No, look, 90% is the future to turn around the lives of our people. Because when we took that decision of 90%,
Yeah.
we realized that our money in South Africa, we are a country that bless. We are a blesser to outsiders. We don't bless our own citizen in South Africa. But in any case, when you touch a real nerve, a real nerve, and they see you coming, not fearing anyone, because I don't fear anyone in South Africa. I must tell people, I don't fear anyone, because change, I can't negotiate change. I'm going to force change. I'm going to implement change. As long as that change is changing the lives of our people, we as South Africa, we are proud about ourselves. Because I want to when you talk about billionaires in South Africa, those are South Africans. Now when you deal with billionaires, they are not South Africans. You go to any country around the world, you'll never find billionaires in those countries coming from South Africa or coming from Africa.
Now, some of what you've said about the taxi industry, I think, is a case in point in terms of what you're saying here. You think that the industry has been marginalized, that the ANC government has not actually given the industry the attention it deserves. Take us through some of your thoughts around transport and around the taxi industry in South Africa and how you are different from what we currently have.
I regard taxi industry as a business, and black business. These people, we must recognize them, admire them, that black people from nowhere, they were able to come with this innovation of taxi industry and build industry without any help. So I'm saying to South Africa, any black business, we will defend black business, and we will also make sure that we empower such business. Example, this taxi industry, they are not getting subsidy from government. They are not getting funding from government. My view is, if you want to empower black people, fund them, make them big. Maybe for the coming 10 years, just fund them and tell them that, no, I want you to fund you, but after 10 years, make sure now you sustain yourself.
Yeah.
Because I have taken you from here to up there.
So you
now
want
sustain
sustained
yourself.
investment in that industry.
Yes.
Now, I've watched your launch, and I see that you had an application which was dismissed to have the launch covered. Why, in your view, was it important for that launch to be covered by the SABC? And what do you think about being a new entrant into the political party space and the difficulties of being a new player in this space?
Look, it is very important in our democracy for people of South Africa to have a broad choice amongst all political parties. And it is very important because what we are contesting is the ideas. If you don't cover us, you don't give us coverage, which means people of South Africa, they are not going to be well informed about the choices that they need to make because they have been denied that opportunity to know about the ACM. And as a new movement, only 3 months movement, you need more coverage so that people are able to apply their minds, whether they are going with this party or they have other choices. So if you denied people of South Africa, the court didn't deny ACM the opportunity. They denied people of South Africa the opportunity to apply their minds so that they can have a broader choice. That is what the court did. But what is very interesting about that ruling or order of the court is, when I was at the SABC, I took the same view. In my belief was, no, I can't give these new parties that are coming on board. I must give ANC because they are a ruling party.
So you think you were wrong then?
The court has already found that I was wrong.
And you accept that?
I accept that. And even today, I went because of the court ruling. Because the court said, no, SABC, you are wrong. You need to cover all political parties. But because it's me, Hlaudi,
Sure.
the ruling is against the ACM movement, which I'm saying the court, they must find a way to have consistency in their own judgment.
Sure.
Because you can't give a ruling in favor of the DA. The same other people come to you with the same matter, you give a ruling against them. We must deal with the court process, and my members, they want to march to the Constitutional Court, to march to Chief Justice. But I said, because I'm a leader,
Okay.
if they march to the courts, when people they are angry, they march, they are going to insult some of the judges. So I must protect those judges. And behind the scene, deal with the cause. I want to have a meeting with Chief Justice so that we can deal with this inconsistency when it comes to ruling. Because my perception and the perception of my members, people of South Africa who support me, they believe that anything that Hlaudi does, he's not going to win at the court.
Okay.
It is more personal.
And I've seen some interesting things in your manifesto about reviewing the judiciary and your views over that. I want to take some of those questions up with you, questions about how it's important to have a rhetoric which puts South Africans first, where I agree with you, but also in a climate of xenophobia, how we make sure that that isn't misconstrued. So we're going to have the next part of our conversation for our viewers right after this short break. But Ntate, thank you very much for joining us.
I'm very glad, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. SMWX. No young people are around the decision-making table. Let some new voices come to the fore. Follow us on WhatsApp and catch us live Tuesdays and Thursdays. Out with the old, in with the new. SMWX.